Good evening, and thanks so much for joining us for this update from your coronavirus headquarters. I'm Mal Meyer. Experts say extensive testing, social distancing, and contact tracing are essential for safely reopening the nation's economy. With unemployment levels close to 15% and rising, members of the Trump administration are looking at more ways to intervene. CBS News correspondent Nicole Killion has the latest from the White House.
New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio is more than doubling the number of city workers deployed as social distancing ambassadors to more than 2,000.
We're going to increase intensely the number of public servants who are out there educating, providing face coverings, reminding people of the rules, helping people to get it right.
Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker says his state could have what he calls a massive contact tracing effort up and running in the next few weeks.
In order to reopen businesses, in order for people to feel confident, we have to make sure that we're constantly growing those efforts.
Even with states working on reopening plans, White House economic advisor Kevin Hassett says by June, unemployment could reach 20%, levels not seen since the Great Depression.
We understand why the economy is slowing down, and we expect that we can reverse it. Whereas in the Depression, there were a lot of other things, a lot of policy errors and so on that made the whole thing drag out.
Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin says the White House is considering a number of options, including another round of stimulus checks.
The president has said and wants to make sure before we rush back and do the next bill and spend more taxpayer money, we just want to be thoughtful.
After coming into contact with people at the White House who tested positive for COVID-19, 3 coronavirus task force members have placed themselves in quarantine. Dr. Anthony Fauci is said to be at relatively low risk based on the nature of his exposure. He is tested negative and will be tested regularly. Also quarantining are CDC Director Dr. Robert Redfield and FDA Commissioner Stephen Hahn. Nicole Killion, CBS News, the White House.
Let's take a look now at the numbers around our region. More than 10,000 people in Wisconsin have tested positive for COVID-19. 400 people have died, up 2 from yesterday. But more than 5,000 people have recovered. Monroe County has 1 new case, and Jackson County has 2 new cases. La Crosse and Crawford counties both have 1 new recovery. Let's go over to Minnesota now. There are now more than 11,000 infections and 578 people have died. More than 6,800 people in the state have recovered. 1 new case is being reported in Winona County, and in Iowa, nearly 12,000 people have been tested positive. Alameda County has 10 new cases. 265 people have died. There are more than 5,100 recoveries in the state. A rally and public rosary is being held outside St. Joseph Cathedral of the Workmen on Main Street in La Crosse. Those involved say it's to protest additional restrictions set by Bishop Callahan, which they say surpass Governor Tony Evers' executive order. They claim the bishop told priests in a letter that Mass should not be celebrated in church parking lots. They want a full reopening of the Holy Mass in the diocese and the country. They say church closures take away their constitutional right to religious freedom. One protester says they are hurt by these restrictions.
The Mass is the lifeblood, the spiritual lifeblood of a Catholic, and for it to be cut off like this is just about the worst thing that can happen to us.
More than 100 people took part in the protest. News 8 Now has contacted the diocese for comment. Gunderson Health System is now offering limited in-person care. This is for low-risk, high-priority patients. Gunderson says do not let concerns of COVID-19 prevent you from getting the care you need, especially urgent or emergency care. But be aware that you still need to wear a face mask and follow its social distancing guidelines when visiting. You can find these guidelines at gundersonhealth.org/COVID-19. More than 30 Wisconsin National Guard soldiers and airmen are letting people know if they are positive or negative for the coronavirus. They're staffing a call center in Madison. They receive the test results from state labs after specimens are collected from mobile testing sites. Making these phone calls alleviates some of the stress that is on the county health departments and local governments. Troops began their mission April 22nd. The National Guard currently has 15 testing sites across the state, but plans to increase that to 25. This is just one of the many ways the Guard is helping support the state's response to the pandemic. Thanks so much for joining us for this coronavirus update. We hope you can join us tonight at 10. Take care.